Okay, Coach Bryant, we're live. We're live. We're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to our episode of Hits and Heels. It's Wednesday night, and we got a lot going on. Of course, Coach Bryant just came back from look at him. Just came off of baseball practice.
No,
I'm coming
a scrimmage.
A
We had a
scrimmage.
scrimmage today. We played Holy Cross.
Holy Cross. That's where the Derby City Dynamite plays. They let us use our field,
Yeah,
their field.
Yeah. And we
Y'all beat them.
we got that dub.
Okay.
Got that dub. But go ahead.
Okay, that's okay. And I started track practice today, so Wednesday night is gonna be hectic for us getting here. But listen, y'all know how we do it. I'm always excited for the guests that we have, and so tonight's guest is probably one of my top two mentors right now because of her influence in the football industry, especially the football industry, and she's the CEO of the Building Lives Through Sports Network. But the most important thing that has me geeked about her is the fact that geeked. What else should I work? Geeked?
I'm just saying, man. Geek.
Geeked. I'm just saying.
We're in the 70s. We're in the 70s now.
What's it called? Woman fanning? I'm a woman fan or something like that. I don't know what it is. Whatever you want to call it.
I'm a woman fan.
Okay, so y'all know how I am trying to bring flag football to the state of Kentucky. And so we had her son on a couple of weeks ago,
Yes.
and Ryan Montgomery, and she is the backbone of the reason why the state of Kentucky is getting ready to host its first girls flag camp on March the 22nd. And so I'm going to really bring her on, and we're just absolutely excited. And I need all of y'all to meet Dr. LaLisa Anthony.
Yeah.
Hello, and thank you for being on. I'm excited. I've been geeked ever since you said yes. Because your son said, I know my mama not getting ready to get on no podcast.
I know, because I don't say yes that often. So,
Well,
I mean, I
thank
really
you.
appreciate you guys asking, though. You know, I'm in a really good space. So I'm like, you could be this. Well, I'm not at the beach right now. That was earlier today.
Okay.
Then a couple other days ago, and then probably tomorrow. But yeah.
I like it.
Well, listen, we're really excited to have you. How do you want to show up to the world today, or on Hits and Heels? Because I got your whole bio right here. So it'll take us a year, half of the show to go through your bio. So you want to tell everybody just how important you are to us and why you're important?
Now, you're from Ohio, right?
Yeah, from Canton.
I wasn't born there, but I was raised in Canton. And I went to boarding school, but I came back and graduated from Canton McKinley.
Okay.
High school, I didn't play sports, but middle school, I was, of course, a cheerleader. That's what they do.
Why did it have to be, of course, a cheerleader?
Of course.
Okay. I got to intervene on that. Okay, to everybody. Here in Lexington, there's a cheerleader named Donna Martin who is one national.
Oh, Donna Wilson Robinson.
No,
Donna
Martin.
Oh, Donna Martin.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, and she's the head cheerleader at Paulo and Dunbar back in the 90s. And they did so well, they did a national ESPN episode on them.
Okay.
And so here's my point on cheerleading. When you say I didn't play any sports, she helped me become a very good defensive coordinator because I had everything on a script. And I'm watching her do her thing, and y'all are a little ticky about routines on cheerleading. And I'm sitting there, and I walk up to her, and I said, "Did you just do the same cheer for 22 minutes?" And everything had to be precise. So that takes athleticism.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's not a sport or athletic because it absolutely has changed, But
right.
So I started cheerleading in youth football. So like around age 9-ish. And then I cheered through middle school. But when I went to boarding school, they didn't have cheerleaders. But you had to play competitive sports. So I played soccer. I was on the swim team. I played basketball. And I was on the track team. But when I returned to Canton from McKinley, I was strictly academic. I didn't play any sports then. I went to a lot of football games, but I didn't. That's because I used to date the quarterback.
Of course.
Of course, the quarterback.
Of course, right? You know, the quarterback. There you have it. Ryan and Sean's dad, right? Yes.
Right.
So
Was the quarterback.
yeah, the quarterback. And so did not go straight to college. I was a teen parent. I had Ryan my senior year in high school.
Okay.
And forewent going away, was to go to Harvard, but chose to raise Ryan myself. So I did not leave to go to college. Then immediately not immediately, but 18 months later had his brother, because I wanted to have them close in age. So when I did go to college, I wouldn't be interrupted with having another child. I never wanted an only child. That was very important to me. So, and I say all this because a lot of people think I woke up Dr. Anthony, and this has been a lifelong journey. It wasn't even, Dr. Anthony wasn't even in the mix. She never even wanted that. So I didn't even go to college until I was 25.
Wow.
When I went to college full time. At that time, I had 3 children. Then I had a new baby that was like 2 years old. And then Ryan and Sean were like around 7 or 8 when I started college full time, and graduated on time for 4 years with honors. Won the highest award at the university that they give to an undergraduate student, and no other minority has won it singly since. So that's since 95.
Wow. So
You're right.
Trailblazing for a long time.
I've been what?
Trailblazing for a long time.
The thing that I think in the beginning, the wife indicated that you don't do too many. You know how amazing that is to have a child at that young of age and still achieve the ultimate being a doctor. I mean, I'm sitting here right now, and the wife has been right here with you, and you know, I'm gonna tell you, this is me. This is Coach Brian. This is me. I go, and now, hey, and now I'm going.
One of the coldest.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, because there's not that many people. Most people have met me from my season in football, you know, which started later in life. That all started after I went to college. No, you know, not that many people know that this is just a regular girl, you know, from Canton, Ohio, who just had goals. And
so how did you keep this goal? Was it your mom or your grandmother, or you just had it? I mean,
well, I was raised by both my parents, and going to college was very, very important to my dad. He didn't go to college. He was retired Navy, but it was very, very important. I was, my sisters, I have 2 older sisters, 3 older sisters. They went, but they didn't graduate. So I'm the first to graduate college. Wow. And, you know, I just always wanted to go, you know, I just wanted the bachelor's degree. I really didn't want much else. I just really wanted, when I went to college, when I was younger, I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to be an attorney for organized crime. I just thought I wanted to be known as the lady who wore hats when I walked in the courtroom. And then I worked for organized crime. I mean, that's what I really wanted to do. And, but when you got 3 babies on your hip, you kind of, when I stepped on that campus, I was like, am I going to make enough money to feed 3 babies, you know? Because I was going through a divorce. I was married. I was going through a divorce, and I didn't think I could. So I decided that I was going to become a pediatric anesthesiologist. They make money.
They do.
So I went all the way through my senior year. And there was an award assembly. Stephanie Tubbs Jones, former Congresswoman who passed away, she gave me the award. It was the President's Award for Case Western Reserve University. And it was for giving of yourself on campus and off campus for 4 years consistently. And so the students and the faculty vote for who gets this award. And it's given to one person, one senior. And they just asked me to show up in the auditorium. I didn't know what for.
Oh.
But what happened was like 2 or 3 weeks before then, I was awarded another award, but I didn't come because I was in the hospital dealing with a patient that I was working with, and she had cancer. And so when they told me to go to this assembly, I didn't show up. So when it came to this one for the President's Award, they were like, okay, now we really, really, really need you to come. You know, the seniors are going to be there. You don't want to miss it, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know my parents were going to be there. They had already contacted my parents. And so they were there. And so when I walk in, I see my parents and I, you know, sit with them and I'm like, what is this about? I don't even know what this is. And that's when I got the award. And I gave it to my father when I walked off the stage. And I told him, I whispered in his ear, Daddy, I'm not going to med school. I am 100% hooked. I am giving my life to community. And he was like, you will be broke the rest of your life. And so I was like, oh, well, you know, I fell in love with service and community and believing in people through my very active undergrad life in sorority. I was initiated in '93, 2 years before I graduated, into Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, and became president of the chapter, in charge of just so many things, very creative in programming. We turned the hospital lobby at Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital into a carnival. So that all the patients could come down. We made games. So if you could do them in your bed, you can do them with crutches. We had a blast. And so I was in love with that. And I didn't want to go to med school anymore because I did not believe that at that time, I didn't believe that I could affect change. You know, because they had just got a new president, and that president was like in their 70s or maybe early 80s. And I was like, is it going to take me that long before I can affect positive change?
Oh, wow.
I don't want to wait that long. I need to do something now. You know, I need to do something now. And so that's my journey. So I was 30 at that time.
Okay.
When I graduated. So how did I get in football? I know a lot of people see this has nothing to do with Ryan and Sean are playing. Aaron's a cheerleader. It has nothing to do with football, right?
Right.
So this is in 1995. And I go to our local community center. Canton had a youth football league that was 47 years old.
Oh, wow.
Right. In 95. That's like one of the oldest youth football programs in the country. Well, I mean, but we're the Hall of Fame city, so I don't know if that.
Yeah, because you're going to tell me that story too on how y'all became the Hall of Fame city when you get a chance.
Girl, I don't know. History. Go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Okay. But I've been there twice. Yeah.
So they sent me to a city council meeting because some parents y'all don't know nothing about this, right?
We don't know nothing about
listen, y'all know nothing about parents going and telling on you because they don't believe you running the league right, or you stealing them, you ain't treating your kids right.
No, we don't know nothing about that.
No, we don't know nothing about that.
Our parents around us, they just like, okay, yeah.
You never experienced it. Now in our little city, they don't just go complain in the barbershop and everything. They go straight to the mayor's office because they think the mayor, I don't know why, but they go to city council and they go to the mayor and they go complain about what's going on with youth sports. That's where they go complain.
How that work out?
Even even though it's 100% volunteer, they figured they got to answer to somebody. You know?
Wow.
So the
volunteering out here, and y'all got the audacity.
I got
yeah. So the community leaders had word that there was a group of parents going to complain at city council. So they asked me, because no one knew who I was. I was recently, came home from college. Would I go down to city council and see what was being said and then come back and report to them at the community center? So I did it. But when they were talking, they kept saying, if you were organized, you could get money. And so I said, you know what? I can organize them. I know how to organize, do paperwork. And they said, if you could put a prospectus together, we'll give you money. You can get all new. Why are they going to say that? Why? We'll give you all new equipment. We'll give you everything you need. So I was like, oh, that's all it takes? I can do that for you. That's not a big deal. And they were like, you can do it. I was like, sure can. So they made me president of the Youth Football League. So I was the first woman president of the Canton Midget Football League. And I did that for 5 years. Okay. So while I was doing it, backtrack, when I was in college, I used to do programming for undergrads, how to study, how to manage time, how to transition into college, because I was older. So I understood a little bit differently about this college journey. Right. Okay, so now we're 5 years in with midget football, and this program comes about, Play It Smart, through the National Football Foundation and the NFL. Okay. And Akron Buchtel got tapped to be a pilot. There were selected 18 high schools in the country, and they got selected. The head coach was from Canton. Okay. And I had already asked him during basketball season, do you mind if I come volunteer and work with your athletes? I want to see if what I did in college will work with high school athletes. So here comes the opportunity to get paid for it. So I was selected as one of the 18 academic coaches in the country to be a part of Play It Smart. So that's now we're starting my journey in football, because that's what high school football program. And I became Coach Lisa at that point. Lisa. Yeah. So that's what, in 2000, that's what happened. Then this man, I don't know if y'all ever heard of Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn Sr., he called himself going to steal me away from Akron Buchtel. So he did some little finagling, and Buchtel and Cleveland, Akron and Cleveland split my time. But so then I got promoted, and next thing I know, the NFL is calling me saying, your name is buzzing everywhere. Can you join us for high school player development? And I was like, sure, why not? I would have the same region. So it would be 8 NFL markets out of the 32 across 11 states. And so the Bengals were one of my teams, and I got Kentucky. Now, let me tell you, because y'all been at this for a little bit. I got promoted 2003. Kentucky didn't play. I don't know. Do y'all know Kentucky didn't play football in 2003?
2000.
What do you mean they didn't play
Girl,
football?
they didn't take football serious. Y'all were a basketball state.
No,
because when he played in the 80s, it was serious down in Bowling Green.
Okay, it must have been in pockets, because I had a terrible, terrible time. Terrible time in northern Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Right across the river.
Yeah, northern Kentucky.
Yeah, that's
like
different.
Florence and Highlands and Covenant Catholic. Yeah.
Well, the thing is about it is Covenant Catholic and even those schools. I've always said, when people say Kentucky's a basketball state, and I was like, no, Kentucky don't even recruit out of their own state. So in my mind, you can't be a basketball state unless 60% of your players come from the state of Kentucky, and they don't. I always said, and you've heard me say many times, Kentucky's a baseball state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they send a lot of guys to the pros, a lot of guys to college in baseball, but baseball is not a high tier. It's football and basketball. But so you was up that way, that would make sense.
They gave me such a hard time. I'm telling you, I was like, somebody please save me. I tried to put Play It Smart up there. That didn't work. In 2006, we start high school player development, junior player development. Oh my goodness. Then I meet Dale Sturgill. Do you know him? Dale Sturgill from Cincinnati area. And Kenneth Walker, who was in Louisville.
Yeah, he's out.
Coach Walker was at Atherton at that time.
Yes. I know of him.
So he volunteered, you know what I'm saying? He said we could have our camp at Atherton.
Okay.
So I gave up on Northern. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I gave up that fight. I couldn't do it no more. I was like, I gotta make something happen in Kentucky. Let me go where they say we can make it happen. It took a couple years for it to have, to work out, but we successfully had a camp at Atherton, and I think it might have moved to another school or something there. So that's what got me into Kentucky. Now, Ryan and Sean got us in Kentucky through Kentucky State because they
both played at Kentucky State.
They both, one played football, one played baseball.
Yeah.
So they were there. And so I'm steady trying to tell them how hard it is. I can't get my job done in Kentucky because these people I didn't know there was a difference between just across the river and the state of Kentucky. I didn't know there was a difference.
Right. It's like night and day.
It's night and day.
It's night and day. And my charge was just make it happen in Kentucky. So I was like, well, I can make it happen in Cincinnati. I can just go right across the water and just make it happen there, and then I'm done. No, I had to go all the way in. All the way in to make that happen. And so that started like in 2006, 2007. And I think high school player development went all the way to, I think, to 2012. So that's what got me into football, was the NFL inviting me to join their staff. Now, on their staff, there were no women. My father was a mechanic. He was not a coach. He wasn't no former player. He made greasy money and,
Okay.
So
how did that work?
That was, different because in the NFL, most people are, for lack of a better lineage, I'm not going to necessarily say legacy, but somebody was, their dad was.
Dad or somebody. Yes, absolutely.
Somebody was. It's going to be a male. It's not going to be a female.
It's going to be a male. It's not going to be a female.
No.
Well, with that, I said that to my wife before because it was so funny. I'm a 49ers fan, fanatic. And once upon a time, they had like 7 guys made their roster. And I said, because they're kin to somebody. I mean, and the NFL does it all the time.
Yeah, everything. The front office, because I worked not for a team. I've never worked for a team. I worked for the NFL front office out of New York. So when they brought me in, with the same region that I had with Play It Smart. And then when Play It Smart went away, I continued with the NFL with that same market area. So our national director, Jerry Horowitz, he's the person who created high school player development and junior player development. And he was like, I've heard your name over and over again. I want to meet you. I want to see what's going on. And I think it was because when I was with Bookdale and with Glenville directly, and then indirectly training and working with their staff, quite a few players made it to college and made it to the NFL. And when you start popping out first round draft picks out of the same school, and it's an urban school, it's an inner city school that ain't even never won a state championship. And everybody wants to know what's the common link,
And they want the common link.
Right. What's making that thing happen? So then at first they're like, oh, it's Ted Ginn. But then you start seeing it at another high school and they're like, okay, well, that ain't Ted Ginn. So what's going on? And so ESPN was like, no, see, something else is going on here. And then that's when they found out that I was at both schools. So they thought that maybe I knew some secret to make this thing happen. Right. But
I commend them based on what you just said. I commend them for not just giving it to that male, which a lot of the times they do, and they don't investigate
with who's
actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. I really do, especially at my age and watching things develop either by color or gender. And I truly mean that. And at least somebody said, whoa, that's not the common denominator. And for them to figure out what it was, and it was yourself. And I will say that they didn't put their heads in the sand. So
no, they went, and he came straight, and he was like, "Where are you going to be?" And I said, "Well, I have a meeting in Indianapolis with the superintendent, and then I have a meeting, my second meeting in Indianapolis with the superintendent. Then I have another meeting in Detroit with the school board, and then I'm going to Cleveland to the Brown Stadium to go to this high school scrimmage. It was kind of like a scrimmage thing at the beginning of the season. It was just like a showcase, but it wasn't called a showcase back then.
Right.
And so he was like, "Do you mind if I travel with you?" And I was like, "Okay." I mean, I don't know who you are, so I mean, you're more than welcome to catch a flight and come. He was like,
right.
He said, "Can I come into your meeting in Indianapolis because superintendent, I think his last name was Washington, he won't even meet with Tony Dungy. So I want to know, how did you get a meeting with him?"
Wow.
Oh,
I was like, we had
a
really good meeting, and he asked me would I come back and talk to him about putting youth football.
I gotta cut you off
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. I think that's one of those. And if we had a Baptist church saying, and the preacher go, "Y'all didn't hear me," and they say it again. Did you just say they didn't meet with Tony?
Yeah, he no, because he wasn't. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, I think his name was Gene Washington. I can't remember his name.
Gene
Washington was a phenomenal man.
He played for the 49ers. He's like at that time, I want to say he's vice president of the players development or something. He was up there with the NFL. Gene Washington used to play for the 49ers.
No, not that Gene Washington. This is the superintendent of Indianapolis Public Schools.
Okay.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was raised by a single parent, and we just really hit it off when I went there to talk to him. And he was like, "Well, if you want to come back, we could talk some more, about maybe how
did you get in?"
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? Yeah, like what was the catalyst that allowed you to come in and not Tony Dungy?
Yes.
You did, favor ain't fair, but it's fine.
Sometimes favor just ain't fair.
It's just the way it is, and I'm all for academics. I'm not really, even though it's play it smart and it's using sport as a vehicle, I'm 100% into building the whole person, the whole athlete. So he understood that. So he took our first meeting, which ended up lasting maybe like 2.5 hours. And so then he asked me, could I come back? And I told him, sure. And so that's what I told Mr. Horowitz, was I had a second meeting with him, and he wanted to specifically talk about maybe some programming for middle school and maybe how to get their middle schools playing football. Because at that time, Indianapolis didn't have middle school football for the public school system. So we met, and then Mr. Horowitz was like, "I'll help you with the Detroit school board." He was like, "Have you ever met with him?" I was like, "No, I've never met with him." He said, "Oh, I got this one. I know the superintendent, And I was like, okay, because they never took a meeting with me. It was just so challenging in Detroit. And because I had challenging markets for the NFL.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I had St. Louis and East St. I had some challenging, Kansas City, Memphis. I had some challenging markets. So not just in football, but just dealing with those schools and those school districts. And so he went with me, and he knew the superintendent. We met. I mean, nothing really came of it. You just had a nice little, I call them a sit, meet, and talk. And then we had dinner. We drove to Cleveland for those scrimmages. And then I was like, okay, I'm on my way. He was like, would you like to join my team? And I was like, your team? I don't even know who you are.
Right.
And so he explained to me the program, and he was like, I would like to bring you on as one of our regional directors. And I was like, oh, do you need a resume? He was like, did I ask for one?
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, well, I can get you a letter of recommendation. I said, is it okay if it comes from Jim Tressel? And he was like, did I ask you for one? But I still had Coach Tressel send it.
Okay, Tressel.
So I was like, because I'm just this regular person just doing what I do every day.
Right.
I'm trying to see how many I can send to college. And
I guess my question is, I don't think that's regular.
Didn't I tell you?
I mean, because here's the thing is that the thing that, and I appreciate, Doc, your humbleness, but I mean, you've been truly blessed by our God, amen, and just able to do what you've done. I mean, one day you're gonna have to sit back and get on the porch and just rock a rocking chair and just sit there. And I'm at all.
Like, I can't believe.
I'm not pedestalizing you. Only our God gets that level.
You have no idea.
But
just
that's
the
amazing
stuff that you've done. So
thank you. Yeah, he's been. He definitely has treated me well. There's no doubt. And so when I joined high school player development, I have to tell you this, because women in football in 2006, this when my meeting was, January 2006. We were really good at administrative assistant. We probably could run a foundation. Probably could work in the store. There wasn't no.
There was just certain things that they were comfortable where we could work.
Correct. Even if we were the daughter of someone, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I want to say that the owner for the Dallas Cowboys, I want to say his daughter Charlotte run the foundation first before she got more active in what's going on in team operation. Yeah. Right. Okay. So this what we see today. So mind you, we way back, and I have to remind. We way back in 2006.
Okay.
Right. So, Terry, let me tell you, I'm a researcher. So when I get invited to do anything or whatever, I read up on everybody, because I want to be able to be there and be knowledgeable of who's around, what's going on, or whatever. Because you're already going to be the only one there.
You're going to be the only one there. Yes.
Yes. So I'm always the only one there. So I want to be knowledgeable of who's in the audience and
be able to read the room.
So I studied the women in the NFL in their positions, and they all basically dress similarly, because this is something I paid attention to. They wore a lot of blacks in the wintertime. They didn't necessarily, there wasn't no bright colors. They wore these little comfy shoes, which I wasn't going to wear. That's that part. With the little rubber sole and the round toe and all. That I wasn't. And they wore these
attorneys.
What did he say?
Were they attorneys?
Because that's back in the 2006.
And they wore these really, really plain coats, like straight coats.
Pea coat.
No, they weren't a pea coat, but they was a car coat, and they just had maybe 3 or 4 buttons. Very basic, no adornments, nothing. Very basic. So, one time one took one off when I was at the Browns, because I was going around, and I looked at the tag, and so I looked it up online. It was, I'm a single mom with 3 kids. It was like $400,
For a coat,
Woo! I was like, I couldn't do that. So I went to Burlington. I got me one that looked like it.
Right.
And I had my meeting at the NFL. And so I put on my basic black outfit, some boots. I wore stilettos. And so I put some heel boots on and this coat. And so I was cute.
Right.
Okay. I'm going into Park Avenue up there. I don't know if you've ever been to NFL headquarters. When you walk through the hallways, just like when they put you on hold, it's just all these old games playing. That's all you hear. Just old games and everything. And of course, pictures on the walls. You're really walking through a museum when you go into. So we go into the big main office, and way back in the back of the boardroom, way back in the back is this little closet that has snacks and drinks and sandwiches and whatever. Because if you get hungry, because they probably have long meetings, in there arguing or whatever they're doing. So when I walk in, it's this whole group of men standing there, and it's only me, the woman.
Right.
So I did go over to approach them and shake hands or whatever. And they proceeded to give me their drink and sandwich orders. You know, like for me, because I'm the person there to take the notes. You know what I'm saying? I'm the person that's there to organize the meeting, right? Because
Right.
I'm a woman in the
But
room.
they thought she was the help.
Whew. So I just go sit my little self down all by myself. I was so outdone.
Yeah.
So in comes, his name was Cedric Jones. Cedric Jones was the senior director of youth football for the NFL at that time. And he asked me, he was like, Lisa, why are you sitting over here? You know, because everybody's having a good time, but I'm not a coach, so I can't have coach talk. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about that thing that they be doing at the bar or after the game and all of that, you know?
Right.
So I'm just going to sit over here by my little lonesome and be okay and pretend like I'm reading something. And so he asked me what was going on, and I told him, and he was like, you know, Lisa, when it comes time to introduce you, let me introduce you to the group because we're going to do introductions, okay? And I was like, okay, because I'm like a little, okay, whatever. Okay, because they're mean to me.
Yeah.
So everyone sits down and they start introducing themselves. So when it comes my turn, he starts naming off players
That
I've worked with. So at that time, I had Dante Whitner, who went pretty high. He was first rounder. Ted Ginn Jr., he was a first rounder. Troy Smith had won the Heisman Trophy. And then, you know, a few others. And they were all looking at each other. Then they looked at him. Then they looked at me. And one was like, what's that got to do with her? And so.
But hold it.
So you didn't understand the words that came out of his mouth.
Hold up, but you got to understand one little simple thing. That's the mindset. And Doc, you changed the mindset. It's no different. And please keep your thought. I apologize. When you went to that camp, the first question they asked, why are you here? Okay, when you set a different precedent in making people open their minds, and especially males who's used to male dominating sports or whatever it is, it's not that they're degrading you. They just don't expect it.
Right.
They don't expect it. I mean, like the first time when, and please keep your thought, Doctor, I apologize. But when Coach Brian here became my assistant coach, I had to tell the people she is not my team mom. She is a coach. Okay, so please.
We're so good at those roles.
But please pick up where you came from. But I just want to clarify that. I had to emphasize she is not a team mom. She actually coaches, you know.
But so, I get it, because I don't know how many times I've been in a store and I'm shopping and somebody asks me, do I know where something is?
Oh my goodness. We're gonna get there. So he said all of them are her players. Just like you coach players,
she coaches.
Actually has sent more to the NFL than all of you in this room combined.
Let's go.
That's it.
And they were like, oh, you know, it didn't win everybody over or, you know, but at the end of the day, this is what it was.
Facts is facts.
You had receipts.
Huh?
You had receipts.
This is where it was. I was assigned the largest region in the country. All the men, they usually had like one team, maybe two teams. So if they were from Atlanta, they had the Falcons. They didn't necessarily take on the Panthers too, you know. But because of playing smart, see, this is where, again, God knows comes before you, because again, this is all me minding my business and answering a phone call. Every single time opportunity ever came for me, it came through a phone call. It's never come any other way. I can apply for whatever I want. I never get it, but a phone call is an opportunity for me. So all this time, so now I have the largest region for high school player development and junior player development, and which all came out of the successes I had out of playing smart. Now, when I started with high school player development in 2006, there was, I think, 2 registered high school women football coaches in the country. I remember specifically one was in Louisiana on staff, and I can't remember. I want to say maybe the other one was in California, but only 2 in the country. And I remember that because they made such a big deal in that early time of the women who coached tackle football. They made such a big deal, during that time. And I used to get approached all the time because I would be the only woman. And people would ask, how'd you get your job? Can I apply? I'm like, you got to go talk to him, because I don't even know why he selected me. I mean, I ain't even going to lie, because I was just minding my business, just doing my thing. And I was okay. Jim Tressel offered me to become director of player development for Ohio State the year after they won the national championship. So that would have been in 2003 or 4. Was it 4?
4. I think I want to say 4.
Yeah. So when they went to Arizona, I asked him a simple question. He couldn't answer me, so I told him I had to tell him no. But I would, appreciate it. I love him. He would definitely be like somebody I would leave the NFL for. But I simply asked him what would happen with the players that I was working with. If I was to leave Glenville and leave Akron-Buchtel, would I still be able to work with those athletes, even though they weren't coming to Ohio State? And he was like, Lisa, I don't think so. So with that answer, I was like, well, I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, we got a few questions for you right now from people.
That's huge. So my auntie is on here, and she said that she said hello, and then she said, and you did good, very knowledgeable, and did good for your players. And Mr. Brown said that Jim Tressel and Maurice Claret, those 2 men, and their story is moving, and wanted to know. I guess we almost answered this one. Did your football interest carry you into the athletics at Ohio State? But it almost did, and you said no.
Yes, it almost did, but
okay.
No. Yeah,
but no. And then he asked, did you ever write any articles on the Maurice Claret story?
Maurice Claret.
Correct.
Yes. Maurice Claret is from Warren, Ohio. I never worked with him directly. I do know who he is.
Yeah.
But no, I have never written any stories. I've never used him as a speaker. And be honest, if I had pro athletes or anyone come speak to my athletes, I don't need anyone to tell my athletes that they still got time to go to hell to get to heaven. I'm sorry, I don't need that. Wow. Now, if Maurice Claret could come and talk to my players about relationships and how important the people you have around you are, without telling them his journey into demise and then back out, then he can talk to an athlete that I deal with. But I don't need anyone to tell my children they got time to catch up, fix, because we don't.
That is no, here it is. I commend you, because back in the day here in Lexington, I got in trouble because I didn't want to give simulation, not the same thing. I didn't want to acknowledge some kids or some adults that was on drugs and got off. I wanted to commend the other 7 who did not. I want people to tell me, I wanted those 7 to tell their story, how hard it was not to go negative and come back positive. Right. To stay positive. To stay positive is hard.
It's hard.
It is so hard because, when you're here, you can go up. But if you're here, people and things are trying to push you down.
Right.
And the most amazing thing when you said that, I'm serious, I got goosebumps, because that is amazing, because everybody's always looking for the negative to go positive. How about the positive?
We always want to hear the sob story.
Because there's so many. I met so many players in the league, so many athletes that never made it to the league, that never even drank alcohol, that never took a drug. And You know, they just have to go about this the hard way, you know, the regular way, maybe apply to college, maybe try to walk on the team or whatever. Everyone just did not hit demise and get there, you know, and work through it and have someone pick them up and mentor them, you know. And I love Tress for what he's done, you know, and I know he takes care of his athletes beyond the football field, way into their lives. And that's great. It's just, even when I had players like from a team come talk to athletes, you know, they were like, okay, we're going to bring these 4 athletes to come talk to your team, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, but they're not talking to my team. Now they can do what we going to do today. You know what I'm saying? But they're not going to just stand up and talk to them and tell them about their journey and about what they're doing right now. No, no. Now I can tell you what we're doing today. And if they want to participate in that, then yeah, they can come. You know, we can have a good time. And they did, because on that particular occasion, we had this thing at Glenville and at Akron Bookville called the like a gridiron thing where you could earn yardage to score touchdowns. So it's an incentive program. So at the end of the year that you can win opportunity to go out to dinner, you know, to do something. So one of the things, a scoring opportunity they were working on was they had to finish this story. So everyone on your team had to put a sentence in the story. It had to make sense. And the story started with, when it starts to get hot outside, it's so hard to. Now, every player had to continue the story. Now, the professional athletes, I put them one with each team, and you need to sit and you need to add your part to the story. You know what I mean? Not tell your story. You need to listen to the story and add your sentence, and they'll keep track. So when they do present it, they can say, this is the one from them. And the conversations, and, you know, of course they talked after that amongst themselves, like they were all, you know, they're all the same. There wasn't someone preaching to them. They were all the same, sharing the challenges that happen when it starts to get hot outside, you know, when it starts to get, you're making those decisions and what do you do? So I'm all for that. I'm not really for someone standing up in front of and telling their story. Definitely don't want to be dealing with nobody showing up with private driver that's been to prison, coming in, bringing their books. And no. That's telling my kids they got time.
Hey, well, I'm telling you right now, my wife would tell you I'm very hesitant about people doing what you said you don't like. Am I right? I have a problem with that too. And yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out my wordings right now, so my education is not kicking in, because I am so humble on what you said, and it's real, because that is, everybody wants to go negative and to say this is negative. I get it. Some things are negative, but it's okay. I remember our son. I said it to him. I said it to Ty. I said, Ty, you don't have a story. You don't really have a story. And I said, they're not gonna write a book, because you know, your stepmom, your dad, your mom, your stepdad, we weren't on drugs. We didn't beat each other up on our divorce. We didn't fight in public. You know, I said, you know, you're educated. You carry yourself well. We carry ourselves well. You know, and I said, wow, what is your motivation? And he said, my motivation is God, through God, and playing hard. That was his motivation.
There you have it. There you have it. Yeah.
And that's in the same way, you're saying the same thing. When you speak to my guys, it's keep it with the Savior, with the positive. And there's a friend of mine that I talked about coming on the show. And I said, the greatest thing that Terry does at her show, everything's positive.
Yeah, I don't, and I don't think I told you that when I ahead of time when I got, I don't like I don't like any political stuff. I don't like any controversial stuff. When people come on my podcast, it's a safe space to have a conversation. And even if you do have some information that may be noticeable, it's not something that I'm going to bring up. It's going to be something that you're going to have to bring up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, because we've had Mr. Brown, we didn't have some people bring some stuff up on here. had us, Lord.
We go like this. We go.
No, I don't have anything like that.
No, we ain't asking for
No. But the point is,
yes.
I love what you said.
Yes.
I'm serious,
Yeah.
and
you can't just anybody can't just talk in front of you.
I'm gonna use my word I don't use very often, and I've used it in my lifetime because God has blessed me to be on this earth for a moment. Amen. And I am truly a fan.
Oh, well, thank you.
I am truly a fan.
So let me tell you, so when Coach Tressel offered me the job, he asked me what was my master's in. Remember I told you I just wanted that bachelor's? I was good, I was supervising people with masters. I was supervising doctoral candidates. And I put in for a promotion. I got denied because I didn't have a master's degree. And so that didn't move me to go back to school. But when Coach Tressel offered, and even though, in the conversation, and even though I was like, no, I don't think this is for me, he was like, well, Coach Lisa, you can come, you can get your master's for free. And I was like, what? He was like, we can bring you in as an academic advisor. And I was like, this is what I already am. I don't want to come all this way to do the same. So no, I'm good. And so I was talking to my daughter. I was taking her to basketball practice, and I said, boy, I just got off the phone with Coach Tressel, and he was just explaining to me that, that if I came to Ohio State, basically I've reached this point. This is my second time hearing that I need this master's degree. And so she said, well, Mom, if a master's is what you need, then a master's is what you need to get.
Okay.
So in 2005, I enrolled in a master's program. I started searching in 2004, but I enrolled and I finished in 2007. And back at Case Western Reserve, I went to the School of Social Work there. And what I got was a master's in community development. Now, most people who get a degree in community development are building infrastructure. They're going to do city planning, urban planning, making cities, right? That's what they do, right?
Oh, I didn't know.
Not me. So what I did was I took all that theory and principle and I applied it to building people. Because I already knew I wasn't getting ready to set up no cities or nothing like that there.
Right.
So I was going to continue. I always knew I would continue in sport. I didn't know in what capacity or anything like that. So I just applied that same principle. So while I was in my master's program, two things happened. Glenville lost a player. A child got killed. And shot and killed. And it was overwhelming, because this is in the the early 2000s. So we weren't yet desensitized to this yet. We are. It wasn't the norm. Right. Yeah. So, the line was wrapped around the block to go in the church. It was just very overwhelming. And I was like, just looking at Ted, and I was like, this can't be what we in business for. This can't be what we're doing. So that happened. And I got a call from the Ravens that the Bahamas wanted to start football. They wanted to have a camp. They didn't want to start football. They wanted to have a camp. So I'm with the NFL, who does camps for this age group, but the NFL didn't do them internationally. Now, I didn't know anything about Mexico and Canada or nothing like that, And so, because I'm not football like that. I'm just trying to send some kids to college. At the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to do. So I tell the Ravens, I'll make the call. They were like, well, we called and they told us no. I said, okay.
So they were confident that if you called, they would say yes.
No, they didn't know. So I was like, I'll call. And so my boss did tell me no. Jerry Horowitz told me no. We don't do we're not going across the water, is what they said. So I guess Mexico and Canada, their borders touch us, so they don't have to cross water.
Right.
And this is, again, before NFL gets into this international stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's yelling at me on the phone, saying all this stuff. You could tell, how you can tell when somebody has an audience, right? You could tell when they're talking to you with an audience. And so then he calls me back like 5 minutes later. And he says, what do you need? I'm telling you right now, I'm not shipping it across the water. The furthest I'll ship it is Miami. That's it. You're going to have to figure it out. What do you need? And so I told him I wanted stuff for 200 kids. I don't even know what's going on down there. And so we go down there. We have a camp that summer for a week. And at the end of the week, this gentleman named Stanford Duhaney comes up to me and he was like, okay, this is good. This is good. We want our kids to play football. I said, oh, this ain't football. Camp.
Just a camp.
This is camp. I said, like the Dolphins come here every year and their players, you take them out on fishing trips and they do this little bouncy house for you and your kids and throw around some football. That's what this was. This is just camp. Football, now that's some work right there. To start a football league, to start a football program in a place that ain't never had kids play.
I've never had kids play.
You don't even have a coach. You ain't got a referee. You don't even have a pylon. You don't even have a weight room. When I went there in 2006, there wasn't even a weight room on there. They didn't even deal with that. And I did some research because I agreed to it. So then I changed my master's thesis to create a football program in the Bahamas.
Okay.
And when I did the research, they're sending one male to every 4 females to post-secondary school. The males ain't going to college. The males is selling drugs and dying and going to jail. That's it. That's their 3 options. Sell drugs, die, or go to jail. So, a few of them probably got a job, but it was negligible. So I tell them, I'll put you a plan together. You'll be playing. So this was the fall 2006. By December 2006, I had the plan. I said, you'll be playing by fall 2007. He said, what? We have nothing. I said, I know you have nothing. We got this. What could happen? Girl, didn't we open up 8 teams, 320 players, 80 men coaches, I think 10 referees. I said, if nothing else, you're going to look like refs. You don't know what you're doing, but I'm calling home.
So that many people were interested. Now, did the interest stem from the camp?
I don't know, but they watched it.
Are they watching it on TV?
They watch it on TV. And so we put in a whole program. You couldn't play if you weren't in school. If you already had, because they graduate like at 16, but if you had graduated from school, you had to be showing that you were going to either trade school or getting ready to go to college or working a job. You had to have forms signed off. The whole works. Everything was in place. Everything. Medical physicals. Girl, the only thing I didn't know, when you watch football on TV, when an injury happens, it goes to commercial. So the first time we have an injury, they keep playing. I'm calling Ryan on the phone saying, what is wrong with these people? Why are they taking a knee? This is the first game. And so this taught me a huge lesson. One of my first lessons, I should say.
Okay.
He said, Mom, did you teach him? I said, what? He said, Mom, did you teach him that when an injury happens, did you take a knee? How would they know that? I said, boy, we got work to do here. That's when I learned about unwritten rules, courtesy rules, conduct rules. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And so I had a team of NFL and NCAA referees that would talk to my refs every Monday. I would call in favors from high school coaches, college coaches, NFL coaches that would talk to my coaches every week, would fly down there do clinics with them,
Yeah,
everything.
I'm gonna be mad to have to fly down to the Bahamas and help some coaches.
To
No,
make this thing
but
happen.
but I like
Yeah, that's
like
gonna really
when
make
that
me
question came out, and this is my personality. I don't show very much emotion about when something goes wrong, because the first question that she knows I will ask, did the person know? Not knowing is not a problem. Okay, not receiving the information is the problem. So when your son said, "Did you tell him that?" Okay, because what is my saying? What is common?
What is not understood is misunderstood.
What is not understood is misunderstood, and what is common to one is not common to someone else. And that right there is the blessing that, again, I'm going this route. I have to, that you've got a circle of somebody, because where I say all the time with me, where I am weak, she is strong. Because many times I go, oh, I never thought about that. And it's simple. You know, the guy invented the little thing you put in front of your car when to keep the sun out, that little board.
A little visor.
Okay, that was actually a guy from Texas. His father went to the store, went to a hospital. It's hot. The older father burned his hand, the grandfather, and he ripped off a cardboard box and stuck it in front. How simple is that? But you don't know it's simple until somebody else does it.
Right.
Yeah. Then you go, oh, that's simple.
Oh my goodness, yes. And so that's when I was like, yeah, we not at ground zero. We underneath the ground. We got to dig up out of the dirt, get to ground zero. Now natural talent is there, but talent does what it can, effort does what it must. So all that didn't even matter. I had to make it work out. And so definitely that was like a huge undertaking. I went down there by myself. I didn't take a team with me. So definitely the first modern time person to start football in a country that hasn't played, for that age group, because most countries, I now later find out, adults play, even the ones that are having women's football now, it's adults, it's not youth.
It's not youth. Yeah.
No, because first of all, who can afford it? But they're not, Mexico, yes, Canada, yes. But other than that, it's catching on now that they kind of need the youth to make them into the adults. But back then it wasn't, they didn't have youth playing. So it was definitely a learning curve for me. I committed 3 years of my life to it. When I said yes, I would do it, I told them I would give them 3 years. And then I would walk away.
Going back into the Bahamas.
Excuse me?
3 years of going back and forth to the Bahamas?
I don't know.
Or did you live in the Bahamas?
I don't know if she's talking to me about going to the Bahamas or not. Because that's like twice she brought up the Bahamas. I'm just saying. She brought that up twice. I don't know if that's me.
Yeah, I pretty much so stayed there. They would fly the kids in, and whatever have you. So we're 2007, come 2008, going into 2009 is when the International Football Federation, we're going to have the Junior Worlds. And then they announced they're going to be in Canton, Ohio. So I'm like, well, there's no way in the world that you're taking a junior high school level team to Canton, Ohio, my hometown, and I don't take a team for the That's not happening.
Right.
So I go to work to find out what does it take to get a team, to travel, to make this thing happen. And so you had to go through qualifiers and all that. Say we did not make it, but we formed a federation. So I was the first woman federation in the world, woman president in the world, and also the first non-national, because I'm American.
Right.
So when we would go to meetings internationally, wherever you went, to Sweden or Spain or whatever, in the US, wherever, I couldn't even say, when they call roll for the Bahamas, I couldn't even say present because I'm not Bahamian. So I had to always bring Bahamian with me so they could speak and vote on behalf of their nation. I can debate and I can discuss and I could put forth questions, but I could not do any final type of thing because I was not Bahamian.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I created the federation for the country. And then, we had a board, we were operating. So at that time, so we're getting ready for that 2009. That's when Building Lives Through Sport Network came. Because that's when God showed me that network is because you're going to do this in more than one country. And what you're going to do is build lives. So therefore, building lives. I work in positive youth development through sport. So Building Lives Through Sport Network. That's where the name for the organization came in 2009.
So my question is, everything you've done and doing, do you feel like that some people are trying to squeeze you out? Usually when you start something, it's exciting and that people get used to it. But when you get the success you get, somebody else always comes in and tries to put their 2 cents in. I mean, am I saying the question correctly?
No, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, that's
yeah.
what happens a lot of
It
times.
is what it is.
Especially with minorities.
If you listen to man, yes, that is what happens to you.
Yes.
But I ain't create Building Lives.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, no, I'm glad because I was trying to make sure I get my wording right so you could understand the question.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it. I've been on this earth a long time. And I've seen people start stuff from ground up. They put their heart and their soul into it. And then Leroy over here in the back, Bob comes in and says, "Oh, why don't we do this?"
They have great ideas. Ryan. See, Ryan is in charge of our partnerships. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So he has to meet everyone first. I don't meet them until they pass through him. He talks to me sometimes about them, but pretty much so he knows she ain't going for that. So yeah, we've had people who have ideas of what Building Lives is supposed to be. But Building Lives, to be honest with you, has done what I wanted it to do already.
That's it. That's
but
what I'm saying.
In my lifetime, I'm already passing it on to my children, and my role in it is changing. I do have say, and yes, it is me who can do certain things because of my experience, but I'm definitely teaching my children how to manage and do. Now, Building Lives is unique in the fact that when God gave it to me, he didn't give me a program. He gave me an organization to utilize the talents which he bestowed upon me years ago, which was to be able to get to paper other people's vision and other people's passion so that they can go out and get the resources to make what they dream of and what they believe in, make that happen. So because of that, you can't shift me or push me out. You got to be really good at putting a program, creating it from nothing, creating it from someone standing in front of you and saying, I started with a van with 20 kids, and I really would like to turn that into the biggest college camp in the country. I'm speaking of Sound Mind, Sound Body because I've been with them for 20 years.
Out of Detroit.
Out of Detroit. So I'm the person that when an idea comes that he'll call, and I'm the person that will send him back on paper what that idea is with research, evidence-based information so that he can go out and get the funding and the resources and the partnerships and collaborations needed to make that thing happen. So that's what Building Lives is.
Oh, that's exactly what it is, because I was driving back from St. Louis from a game when I was coaching the women's tackle football team, the Derby City Dynamite, and I just picked up the phone and called him. He answered, and we talked all the way from St. Louis all the way to Louisville, I think.
So,
me and Ryan.
You talked to Ryan?
I talked to Ryan. I called Ryan and I said, Ryan, how do I start girls flag?
Yeah, that's who we are. People think, because people call us all the time, like, do you have a database you can share? Do you have this? That's not who we are. You know, that's not what, I mean, we have a database of who participates. Now, the showcase, which we're getting there now, the showcase is different because, again, this is who we are. And we are in the business of putting ourselves out of business. I make sure that my kids understand that, because there's so many people that need your assistance. You don't need to just grab on and hold anything, because whatever you have hopefully will be replicated, if not by you, by somebody else, because all of it's going to make all of this better, because we need to change the trajectory of millions of kids' lives. We can't do that holding on to something in Frankfurt or Louisville or Canton or Cincinnati or Dallas. You got to set a time limit and move on. That's why in the Bahamas, they got 3 years. And I tell anybody, this is your time. You better get what you can out of it, because at the end of it, I got to move on. That's the way it is. And so now when you need me again, just call, but you can't call me for the same thing. You know, call me for whatever the new thing is. And then we can go there. But, you know, go ahead and perfect that, and then we move on to the next thing. So with that, when we created the showcase 7 years ago, we created it for an organization, I want to say in Louisville, but they didn't take it like they were supposed to. So Ryan kept doing it, and I fussed for probably, I didn't fuss year 1 and I didn't fuss year 2. Definitely year 3, 4, 5. I'm struggling because I'm like, why are we still dealing with this? You know, where's the organization? Why don't they have it? Why aren't they doing it themselves? We got other things to do. You're getting ready to stretch yourself thin. I'm telling you, I know how this works. So a friend of mine, I had a conversation with him. He was like, well, how do you know this is not a part of your ministry? And I'm like, oh, no, we don't keep events. We don't keep program stuff. We got to move it. But he was like, this could be one that's yours. And so that conversation a couple of years ago helped me to embrace that the showcase belongs to building lives, you know, because Ryan's always selling that it's the first satellite camp at a HBCU in the country. Nobody did it there. And so, Mom, you have to understand. And now we have other people replicating the showcase, which is, you know, okay. So I guess it's working like it's
part of the vision. That's
it's happening. Okay. So now I'm a little bit happier about it, because I was like, you know, there's work to do. Now, if you're going to advise other people how to do this, okay, go ahead. Because I know it's a lot of work that goes into make that thing happen. So then a couple of years ago, he added the cheerleaders. And then this year, brand new, he's adding the flag football, the girls flag football, which is very timely with flag football becoming an Olympic sport. So now we're about to do the first ever flag football camp that involves, and I'm like, Ryan, are you sure it's first? He's like, Mom, listen, flag football
There's
camp.
no flag in Kentucky.
In Kentucky, using college coaches. He says, Mom, no, this does not exist. I'm telling you, I said, okay, you know, this is this is your next that you're adding to it. Let's go, you know. So that's how we work, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't have to answer to anybody but God. And if it ain't gonna work, then God ain't gonna let it work. Right. There. So you know, you have an idea, you talk to somebody, they want to make something happen, they're willing to help you with it. Let's go. What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen?
It don't work out.
It don't work out, and that's it. And then we tried. At least we say we tried, right?
You try, tweak it, you come back, you try again. You know,
yeah.
If you get 30, I mean, and it's not even about the number. A lot of people are like, well, don't you need this? Don't you? No, we don't know. See, we don't have no overhead. See, we don't. This is not how we eat.
Okay.
All of us have degrees.
Right.
All of us have jobs.
Yes.
Building lives is a vehicle for us to be able to do what we do. We don't even make money off of it. My credit card says we spend money off of it.
Well, and also, ladies, it's I don't know. I think you got to change your name to a railroad track, because you just go and go, and your vision is beyond that little moment. That's impressive. I mean, because you expanded out, and you started this, and you added on to this, and you added on to that, and it's, I just think it's amazing.
Well, thank you.
I really mean that from the beginning. I've got a child, and by the way, I'm going to college. By the way, I'm doing this. By the way, yes, we got this. Now we're going to do this. And it's just adding on to the pieces of the puzzle. And it's just like a railroad track. Because what's railroad tracks? We say all the time, it just goes. I never know when to end. It just keeps going. And your vision is amazing. Because usually people have a vision, and that vision is in the box. And once they hit that box, then now what now? And you don't have a what now. You have, we got to keep doing this, and we're going to do this. So,
well, though, Coach, it's really for the ones.
I just said that.
Yeah, it's for the ones that I don't even know their name or their face.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Now, let's think about it. A lot of people start stuff, and when they get to that small point, they don't keep pushing that point forward. Like you said, and especially with Coach Trussell, ain't too many people going to say, I'm good.
And turn him down.
I'm just saying. Ain't too many people.
Count on one hand how many people turn him down for a job.
I'm good.
We love each other.
Yeah. But I guarantee you, okay, you can see me, right? I guarantee you, he had his phone when you said I'm good. He went.
It was in person. I was there on the he put the little sticker on my shirt that said, "You could be coming with me, Lisa, to Tucson." And I was like, I don't think so. Because you can't help. You can't. At the same time, we're global. Building lives is global. So the Bahamas, then in 2019, we picked up Jamaica. So they play football now. Mm-hmm. And just in December of 24, we've now, we're working on the relationship, solidifying the relationship with Turks and Caicos. So, but Turks and Caicos, I think, is going to kick off with basketball, and not football, because it doesn't really matter what the sport is. As long as it's youth, because we don't do college and we don't do pro. So as long as it's youth, I'm good. Now, when I tell my kids all the time, when I leave this world, however you do it is how you do it. But as long as I'm here, this is how we gonna do it.
I love it. I love the legacy that you're leaving for your children. The funniest thing, even when Ryan was on a couple of weeks ago, was the fact that Ryan said, "I don't even like sports like that."
It's not even really, it's like you participated, but it is truly the vehicle.
Yeah.
The vehicle. God has done very well with me in my life, my family, my grandchildren. He gets, all the praise, honor, glory, everything. He has truly. He didn't have to choose me, I could have been so many other things, especially as a young mom, out here just trying to figure this thing out and work this thing out, or as a single mom, or as a single woman, but he continues to help and guide me. And I'm obedient to it. The Bahamas was very challenging. I lived outside of a box. I packed myself. I was ready to go. I was so disgusted, and just so much bad stuff was happening. And I packed my stuff and never left. And everyone's like, what's going on? I'm like, oh my goodness, he won't let me leave. You know, and they're like, who is keeping you? And I'm like, God is making me stay here. He won't let me go. I'm ready to go.
Well, every show I'm gonna get talked about when we go off there. Every show I walk away because I make it crystal clear this is her show, and I appreciate my wife for inviting me on, and because she's has opened my mindset on amazing things that's going on. But I'm one of these guys that want to open my mindset, you know. And the whole key is I'm honored to meet you, talk to you, ask you questions, and I'm just thrilled. But I usually walk away, and then she closes her show. And even though she, you know, I guess you heard in the beginning, I said, "Do you want me to come up?" She goes, "I always want you to come up." And when she said, "I always want you to come up," I'm married. I know what that means, and that's why I'm here. Because sometimes, you know, I love what she does. I really do. I am truly her number one fan, and I love my wife what she does and bring awareness to strong women throughout the United States and what they're doing, and I hope she doesn't change that. I really mean that. So with that,
Mr. Brown said you're in the presence of two motivated women.
Oh my God! Give me something I don't know, Mr. Brown. That's my man. That's my man.
And then he said, "Great tribute."
Yeah, and so with that said, is very nice meeting you. It was very nice meeting your son, and
but you're going to the camp with us.
Well, I guess I'm going to the camp.
You can meet her there.
Unless we have a baseball game.
Yes. Yeah. I fly in the to 21st.
Okay.
I'm there through Sunday. Yes.
Okay. Well, I coach high school baseball.
Yes.
And you know, baseball is you know, in high school baseball, there's 7 days, and we play 5 out of 7 days or 6 out of 7 days. So I have to see when the game is, and trust me, I can't wait to meet you in person if we don't have a game.
And we need to get baseball into the showcase.
Hey, I love that.
Oh,
we do. I mean, that would make Sean. He would be so, because you know, at one time he was the coach there at Kentucky State. That would make him so excited, you know, because that's his level.
I can tell you right now, she can tell you, I love this game. I love it. I know some people. I know a few people in this game, and they got a little clout. So with that said, I'll let y'all close it out. Again, it is a blessing to meet you and talk to you, and hopefully we don't have a game, and I will see you in person.
Right. God spare life, and me have safe travels out of here. I would definitely.
Yes, ma'am. God bless you.
You too.
All right, babe. Listen. So Mr. Brown asked a couple more questions. He said, "Did your athletic?" This is funny. He said, "Did your athletic involvement ever have you come in contact with LeBron James, who loves that region of Ohio?"
I do. I know both LeBron and Savannah because I was in Akron. I was in Akron Bookdale. So Savannah is an Akron Bookdale Griffin. She played softball there. And we knew each other, of course, because she would talk to me. They knew me as Coach Lisa. They don't know me as Dr. Anthony. Most of the people who know me from back then, they know
Coach Lisa.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Now he wanted to know if you spoke of kids influenced by drugs, guns, and other vices, including the death of the young child. Are there any young men and women that had unbelievable stories that you could share?
My favorite, one of my favorites, but that I always share is a player that went to Ohio State named Curtis Terry. Ryan always, he was like, "Mom," but so when I met Curtis Terry, he was basically, I don't know if people know this, that on your average sport team, or maybe, I don't know what the number is now for high school, but back then on a football team, it was an average of about almost 2 players were homeless on the team. It could be higher now. And kids have a way to disguise that because they borrow clothes from each other, they couch surf, whatever have you. And so Curtis Terry, he came from a background where his mom had been incarcerated and everything. And I didn't know this about him until we took a long trip, a drive from Cleveland to Columbus to introduce him to the coaches there at Ohio State. So when I met him, Coach Ginn called me and was like, I need you to come to Cleveland tomorrow. It wasn't my scheduled day. I need you to come. And Coach Lisa, I need you to get dressed, because I used to just be such a bum. You know, I didn't care. I was just like, for the kids, you know, some old sweats with stains, and who cares? But he wanted me to put on decent clothes and comb my hair, because I generally wear the ponytail and it's real quick. And yeah. So I went, and he was like, okay, we're going to a basketball game. I was like, what? Okay, whatever. So on the way over, he explains to me that this player, he's 19, so his eligibility has expired. You know what I'm saying? He had to pick a semester, and he picked the first semester. So he played football, and basketball, you know, was in that first semester until January. So he now was playing basketball. And Ohio State could have interest in him. And I was like, okay, whatever, whoever he is. He was a senior. And when I walk in the door, we come in the back door. And when I walk in, I'm right at the bucket, and he's doing a 2-hand dunk. And so I'm standing next to Coach Ginn, then Mel Tucker, who was the secondary coach at that time.
Oh my goodness.
And myself, and I'm like, okay, I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know what we're doing. He was like, okay, I just need you to meet him. And so I met him. And so he said, we'll talk tomorrow. That's what he had me come up there for.
Right.
So I come back, and they show me his transcript. Now, when Curtis's mom had went away, she did not leave guardianship for him. And so when he went to live with his dad didn't have the right to put him in school. So he had like 4 semesters of Fs for being absent. You know what I'm saying? Because he had missed so much
school at all. Yeah,
because he was absent. His dad had moved him to Texas, but now he had moved back, and he was staying with Ginn. But his dad couldn't enroll him in high school
in Texas.
So he was still enrolled at Glenville or Collinwood, and had Fs because he wasn't there.
There, gotcha. Oh my goodness, what a
so
story.
I'm like, what you want me to do with this? And he was like, well, can he qualify? Well, Curtis, in his time, favorite thing to do was read. He took an ACT.
During that whole time when he wasn't going to school?
He loved to read. And he took the ACT, and his first time he took it, he scored a 19. Then I think he may have gotten a 22. But he had very good scores on the ACT. And so we're on the sliding scale. And so Bookta was on the block schedule. So the block schedule can save you. So he had a whole semester. So I put together a plan. They had this thing called just regular school. Then they had this program called extended day, which you could take classes right after school. And then he could go to night school. And I put him on a plan for regular school, extended day, and night school. And he did it. And he qualified. Coach Tressel, I put him on the plan. Coach Tressel called that December and asked me, would he qualify? And he said, I'm going to tell you right now, Coach Lisa, I don't listen to coaches, but I will listen to you. If you tell me he is going to qualify, I will give him a scholarship today. I said, he's going to qualify. And Coach Tressel took a lot of flack from that because Curtis Terry was an unknown. You know what I'm saying? No one knew who he was or anything.
Because if he wasn't in school, he wasn't playing. So he didn't have no tape or nothing.
Right. No one knew. I think he had like a 40-inch, 44-inch vertical.
Right.
Very Yes, very athletic young man. And I'll never forget when he went to Ohio State. I don't know, this again is like what God has for you is for you.
Mhm.
And in the front of the Columbus Dispatch, they had a story about the players going in, checking into their dorms. And Curtis, when he was at Glenville, he used to always be like, Coach Lisa, I'm hungry. I'm this. I'm like, I'm not going to feed you. I'm going to tell you right now, what I'm going to do is position you so you will never be homeless and hungry again. This is what I'm going to give you. Now, if you need some food, you got to go to somebody else.
Mhm.
I used to tell him that all the time. And I did feed him one time when I was helping him fill out his application for Ohio State. I took him for dinner. But then the Columbus Dispatch, they have a photo of him putting his key in the door. That's what the picture was him putting his key in the door. And he's like one of my favorite stories because it's just like everything that I am wrapped up in this one person to say
Mhm.
all of it can happen.
Yeah.
All you have to do is
That's
just
what it's all
stay the
about.
course, whatever it is.
Follow the plan. Oh my God.
Follow the
Believe.
plan. And because I tell them, because that, and I used to tell him all the time, I said, whatever that is that you dreamed of last night, that's what I'm getting ready to make true for you. We getting ready to do this. Okay. And he was like, okay, let's do it. And he did it. He did it. So, so he went, because he went to Ohio State. What did Curtis play? What number was he? 57. So maybe, did he play DN? I don't remember.
I don't remember him.
Yeah.
I'm not a Buckeye fan. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm not a fan of any school. I'm a fan of my players.
Yeah. The only time I can't say I was a fan when Justin Fields was there. He's nephew, so I was a fan.
I'm a fan of players. I have Notre Dame stuff, but I'm not a Notre Dame fan.
I was going to ask you. I didn't ask you what is your favorite team?
No, I don't have a favorite team. I have players. I have a nephew who played for Notre Dame and graduated in 3 years. So when he graduated, I was no longer a Notre Dame fan.
No longer a Notre Dame fan.
I don't have a favorite team. I'm just a fan of players. Like when I see them,
So even in the NFL, just a fan of players, no team.
Not really. No, I don't really go to NFL. I mean, I go with clients. I go to NFL games, because they might have a box or something like that. But I really don't. Curtis is now a defensive coordinator at Bluefield State University. He has a son, really, who is one of the top football players in the country. To this day, he still follows the plan.
What a blessing.
I love him. Yeah.
Because if he wouldn't have went to school, he would not be able to be a defensive coordinator at a university.
Right. What position did he play? I don't even know what position he played.
Well, he must have played something on defense if he's a defensive coordinator now.
I want to say he played DN.
DN.
But I have like multiple, because when you
or linebacker. I was going to say linebacker. Yeah.
Is that what Ryan said? A linebacker?
Yeah, he said linebacker. I was going to say sound like linebacker because of his athleticism.
Right. When you are in urban schools, they all have a story. You know what I mean? They all, there's always something, the parents passed away. Now they live with the grandparents. The mom is on drugs and a prostitute, and the child has to get her dressed in the morning. So the child, even though that lives across the street from the school, is late every day. So you have to figure it out. And one by one, you figure it out. And I was just telling someone the other day, when I used to meet, I took a lot of pressure from coaches, because when you first meet them, when you first go into their schools and in their programs, the coaches, the guidance counselors, the teachers, the administration are like, okay, these 3 players, they're the top in the country. They're the top in their, these are the ones you got to focus on. And, but you got 23 seniors, so what am I supposed to do with these other 20? And so, they want you to focus on those ones because that's going to be signing day or whatever have you. And I loved the coaches that I worked with because they got it. And they allowed me to work with all of them. So I would purposely qualify of my seniors Division I. It didn't matter where
Right.
they fell, but that was the highest standard. So when I qualified there, then that's where they would figure out, okay, what am I doing with my life? Some of them wouldn't even go to college. Some of them might do trade school, or they might go into the service, or whatever have you. Because people always wondered, how did Ted Ginn, how was he signing 20 and 30 players, a year?
Every year.
Because we qualified all of them. All of them, no matter what.
No matter what was going on, they all got qualified as D1.
Right. So if they were athletes, somebody wanted them.
Right.
Right. Somebody did.
I mean, and again, that's what the transfer portal is for, because you might, once you get to D1 and it might not work out for you, well, go into the portal and it may work out at a D2.
But see, now mind you, this is me.
But back then they didn't have, I know
they
back then
didn't have all,
like
if you would
today, you had to sit out a year and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, because if you decommit back then, boy, you couldn't even.
I guarantee you a blackball. They blackballed last? Yeah. Oh yeah. If you decommitted,
They would really treat you bad if you did that back then. This is a whole different. I'm glad I don't work in this time. But this is a whole different season. But the kids are still the same. You still have the same issues, homeless players or whatever have you. And like I think it was Mr. Brown said something about the kid. I've not really come across kids who use drugs or anything like that, but definitely when we lost a player at Glenville, it really made me say to myself, I don't want to ever bury another one, So let me do whatever is necessary so I don't. Now have I? Yes. But it's not by droves, you know what I mean? Because some programs were burying in the early 2000s, even like now, 2 players, 2 students in their school, 2 and 3 and 4 a year. And, that's a lot. That's a lot. And so I didn't want to lose not another one under my watch if I could. So that was a major part of what drove me to do what I did. But yeah, my Curtis Terry, I love him. Yeah. I mean, I love all my players. All of them.
Of course,
have
that's a great story.
Different things. Yeah, I can tell you stories of all of them. But yeah,
that's a great story. Well, I just have to thank you and just appreciate you. I remember the first time I met you, we went out to dinner and you just let me kind of just love on you and kind of just soak you all up a little bit. And I loved how you challenged me. I think you were like, well, what is your dream job? And I think I forgot what I said, a recruiting coordinator for something. You were like, well, then go make it happen. If they don't have, then go make it happen. I was like, what? And but it was encouraging because again, there's how many mentors do I have that's in the sports industry, and I'm a football coach. There's not I don't have a lot to go over, or I don't have a lot of people to call, or that's even experienced with anything football, to be able to just to have a conversation with these. He just had a question. Sorry. Dr. Anthony, when you and your son Ryan engaged in events together, have you two been thought to be same age twins? You have aged backwards.
What happened?
Have you been told that you are like same age twins because you have aged backwards?
I've aged backwards. Yes, more times than not, people really think that he's my partner, like my husband, my boyfriend, or something. He's not. He's aged. And I tell him all the time, boy, you're getting old. You're almost 50. What? I don't know what is going on with you. I don't know if I'm aging backwards. I got some work to do, so I think he's going to let me stay around here a little bit longer. I got some work to do.
What a blessing. Well, I just want to, again, thank you both for, he's laughing.
Who's laughing?
Mr. Brown's laughing. Well, I just want to thank you both for doing the girls flag camp. And I feel like you're doing it for me. I know you're doing it for you.
Ryan probably is. I mean, he's so excited.
You're doing it for me.
He probably because he knows I don't even understand flag. I don't even
Right.
and and I really am comfortable. So I don't even try to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? It's just want to really let them make this, long as they follow the core foundational rules of building lives, I'm good.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Do what you want to do. And who you want to help, who wants to join us to help, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, and you do come across, like your husband said, you do come across some people because they have their ideas and they've experienced some things or whatever have you.
Start your own thing and do your own thing. Then don't come over here trying to tell me how to do mine.
Leave me alone. I'm just minding.
Run your own thing. Yeah, leave mine alone. Yes,
I'm minding my business down here with the sun, sea, and sand. Don't be bothering me. That's probably Ryan getting ready to make a little comment. Did she work today?
We're 10 days away. 10 days away today from our first ever girls flag camp in the state of Kentucky. We have college coaches that will be in attendance. I have my women from the Derby City Dynamite. Many of them will be coming and they will be doing like the drills and stuff so that the girls can get taught by women that actually play football, and most of them also play flag football. And I thought that would be a great touch for the camp. So
I know this is going to sound crazy, but how are the signups? Are they going good?
I have no idea because I don't have anything on. Y'all have all that information. I have no idea.
He'll probably put a little comment.
I know everybody's probably sick of my because I tagged you on my. I did a reel today, and I know I tagged you on that one. I thought it was out of chain. That's why listen. I know I saw a flyer. It had your picture on it. It had Carlos's picture on it, and it had like 9 people picture on it, and it was talking about a panel at this. And I don't know where that flyer is. And
he took it down.
Why did he take it down?
Because he thought we might have to cancel cheerleading and put that, because they want to do that panel, but they was going to do it on a later date. So he was like, if they did have to cancel the cheerleading portion, he was going to move the panel to the showcase weekend. But cheerleading actually made out, there's going to be a cheerleading portion. So that's why he took the flyer down. I know. I'm like, okay, because they have to tell me where I'm going to be since I'm
where you're going to be. Yeah, so to be prepared for it.
Yeah, since I'm on my writing sabbatical, so they got to tell me what's going on. So, but yeah, he said he took it down.
Okay, because I said, I know. Did I dream it?
No. I never. I didn't see it, but he told me.
But I think I was at work or something, so it was like a real fast. And I was like, oh, well, I'll go back to it. And then when I went back to go look for it, I couldn't find it. Because I tried to it would have been perfect for my reel today, because I tried to have, like I talked about on the volunteer flyer, the donation flyer, and all the other aspects of the camp, and made sure, and I love the one with showing you all as the leadership of the camp, so people could just understand what was going on and who that was. And that was like the only one that I had missing. And
did you forget? Yeah. Well, it's a good thing, because if you would have put it in there, Ryan would have been like, no, we're not. No. But, I don't know if you're going to reschedule it or whatever, because I really don't. I just know I was supposed to be the moderator.
Yes,
but he can't. Yeah. So if it happens in April, because he can't push to May, because we have other obligations with other Michigan or whatever. And then I just got words from Turks and Caicos that I have to be there in July. So my schedule is like filling up. So we have to see.
Okay. Stacy's giving a hand clap. So Stacy is a Cleveland fan and Ohio fan.
Ohio. Yeah.
Shout out Stacy. Oh, I know what I meant to tell you. So I met
It'd be in July. So
July, most likely. Just have to stay tuned. Okay, thanks, Ryan. So I have to tell you about Stacy. So Stacy is I met Stacy in this group on a Facebook called Black women that love football. It's like 40,000 women in this group. Well, they're
Really?
doing a meetup in July, and I bet it's going to be when you're busy in Cleveland. And part of it is they're taking a tour of the in Canton to the Hall of
To
Fame.
the Hall of Fame? Do
Yes.
they have dates yet?
Have they what?
Do they have the dates? Do they know?
Yes. I think July the Stacy, what's the date? July the 10th, 13th, something like that. Whatever that weekend is.
Oh, yeah, I'll still be there.
And I'm doing, and so me and Natola Hawthorne, who is one of the first baseball umpires, and she also referees football. We're doing like a clinic that Sunday, and so I don't know what we're going to put together yet, but we're going to put something together as a clinic wise, as a teaching moment for the women to help teach them more.
So you said you're thinking the 17th?
No, ma'am. I think that weekend before.
The 10th, 11th, 12th, that one?
That weekend.
Okay. When you get the dates, please let me know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's the date. Those are the dates. So yes. Stacy said July 11th through 13th. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm gonna put you.
And she said that. And she said she's waiting on Coach Ginn to confirm as a possible speaker.
Okay. Coach Ginn, what's it going to be called? Women in Football?
It's the Black Women Love Football meetup.
Okay.
So I think there's like a pool party, and we're gonna have a what else, Stacy? Like a boots to the whatever, a little party, and I don't know, pool party, something else, I don't know. But I know on that Sunday, I know I'm doing a clinic.
Okay.
I'm co-hosting a clinic, but I'll be up there. I'll be up there that weekend, and then I think I'll be back the end of the July for the women's tackle football championship weekend, because our league, the WFA, is starting. They want us to have women's tackle football and a flag team.
Oh, okay.
Simultaneously. And so if whoever doesn't win the tackle will be able to still kind of have an opportunity to win. So Saturday morning from 9 to 2, we'll be in Canton at the Hall of Fame. So that's our Saturday. And then Sunday is, I know I'll do my clinic with me and Natola. So I'm excited about that. This will be my first women's clinic, because that's one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to host women's clinics to help women learn the game of football better.
Okay. So these women aren't necessarily players.
They're not they're just women that just love the game.
Love the
they're
game.
Not players.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. So most of them really don't know the game, don't really know the game, but are just fans of the game. And so
Coach Ginn will be a fun speaker. He'll be fun.
Okay, good. Well, Stacey, we're looking forward to Coach Ginn being there. Okay, so I'm gonna close this out because I really didn't think we was gonna be on this long, and I kind of just took up all your night. How about this is what I normally close with. You never do podcasts. First of all, thank you for doing mine.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And since you very seldom do anything like this, is there something that you ever wanted to say in a public setting like this that you've never had an opportunity to say, or that you would have loved to say? You have that opportunity on the floor right now. And this could be anything. I know I said I don't do political and controversial, but this could be anything.
I mean, honestly, Terry, no, because I truly just speak whatever I want to.
Good.
Whenever I have the opportunity, if it's one-on-one or if it's a group of 500, I just, whatever's on my heart and in my thought.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, I enjoyed you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you in 10 days.
I know, 10 days. I hope Ryan's ready. I hope he's getting some sleep.
I can't wait to see you in 10 days. For anybody catching the replay, please on YouTube, please subscribe. I always forget to tell people to subscribe. That's why I don't have no subscribers on YouTube, because I always forget to tell people to subscribe. Most people watch on Facebook, but please go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that we can just do more and bigger, better things, and try to get the word out, because there's nothing like having people like Dr. Anthony on, who people have no idea the impact that she has had on sports, period. Like the footprint that she has put on sports, people have no idea what she has done. And she's probably only just given us a smidgen of that. So make sure y'all go back all the way through. If you came in late, y'all got to go all the way back to the beginning and hear her story, and look her up, because I don't think, what's on your resume that we didn't cover? Because did we make sure we covered everything on your resume, ma'am?
Probably.
I hope we did. I hope we did, because again, no justice. No justice. You know, you don't get enough. You're another one of those people that don't get enough credit for what you do. And I love your humbleness, that you don't care about whether or not people know about what you've done. And I love that too. Right. So I appreciate that even more. So Stacy, thank you for being on. Ryan, of course, you know, I appreciate you. Thank you for being on. Mr. Brown, appreciate all the comments. I don't know if my auntie Mary, if you're still on here, I love you, and thank you for your support. Anybody else that's on that didn't present themselves, I appreciate you coming on. Those that are coming in and watching it on the replay, I know Susan, you always come watch it on the replay. We appreciate y'all. So we're gonna so I'm gonna log off, but you don't have to log off.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. See y'all.